The sand shifted unnaturally beneath her boots, as if something massive breathed below. Dr. Alina Voss froze mid-step, eyes fixed on the half-buried vertebrae jutting from the dune. It was no ordinary fossil. The bone was smooth, warm to the touch, and impossibly intact. This was not a remnant of the past. This was a warning. In the heart of the Sahara, a legend was stirring. Nigersaurus, a gentle giant of prehistoric lore, was no longer extinct. Alina had come to study the past, but now the future of science, humanity, and nature itself depended on what lay beneath her feet. Approximate 1,200 words. Dr. Alina Voss had always believed that bones spoke louder than myths. As a child, she would spend hours scraping through garden soil, pretending to uncover lost worlds. Now a leading paleontologist at the University of Berlin, her name had become synonymous with high-risk expeditions and controversial theories. Her colleagues called her obsessed. She preferred the word driven. The latest whispers had come not from a journal or conference, but from a handwritten letter delivered without a return address. The ink had bled slightly as if rushed or handled in heat. It spoke of a discovery deep in the Tenere Desert. Bones not yet fossilized, teeth arranged in a manner no known animal had today. The letter ended with a single word: Nigersaurus. That name had haunted her dreams ever since. She had studied a herbivore before, its delicate skull, its hundreds of tiny teeth, its wide mouth shaped almost like a vacuum. Scientists called it the lawnmower of the Cretaceous. It was said to be extinct for over 100 million years. But the letter hinted at something far stranger than any fossil bed. This wasn't just about bones and stone. It was about bones in motion. By the time Alina reached the outpost in Agadez, northern Niger, the air was thick with dust and anticipation. She was met by Tariq Bari, a local geologist and former military scout. He had spent more time navigating these sands than any GPS could manage. "You're late," he said flatly, handing her a cloth to cover her face. "The desert waits for no one." "Neither does science," she replied, trying to hide her exhaustion. Tariq wasn't impressed. "I hope you're not expecting ancient temples and hidden valleys. This is raw land. Harsh. Unforgiving. You chase bones out here. You better be prepared for what chases back." She didn't ask what he meant. Not yet. Their convoy was small. 2 trucks packed with supplies, a satellite link, 1 assistant from Alina's research team named Jonah Lee, and 3 Tuareg guides who rarely spoke unless necessary. Jonah was a bright post-grad student with more enthusiasm than field experience. He had been working under Alina for a year and had begged her to be part of this trip. "I brought the drone," he said, trying to keep pace beside the truck. "And I updated the terrain maps based on last year's surveys. You're going to love this." The satellite scans picked up. "Jonah," she interrupted, "let's talk. More prep. We'll need the drone soon enough." They traveled for 2 days through vast emptiness. The landscape was a burnt sea of orange and gold, carved by winds that never stopped screaming. On the 3rd morning, they arrived at a ridge known to locals as Tamanzar, the place that should not be. The guides would go no farther. Tariq said nothing but stared at the horizon. They believe the ground here is cursed, a place where the earth breathes differently. Animals won't cross it. Even the stars move strange above it. Alina wasn't interested in curses. She wanted facts, and facts began to reveal themselves quickly. The ground near Tamanzar was softer than it should have been. The sediment was fresh, not ancient. In one area, they found enormous track-like impressions, wide, shallow arc spaced in a way that mirrored sauropod movement, but no fossilized bones. These impressions were recent. That night, as the wind howled outside their tents, Jonah stared at his drone feed in stunned silence. Alina leaned over his shoulder and squinted at the screen. There, in the footage taken just before sundown, was a shadow moving across the dunes. It was huge, quadrupedal. Long neck arched gently. The footage was grainy, distorted by sand, but unmistakable. "It's not a mirage," Jonah whispered. "It's real." Tariq entered the tent without knocking. "What did you see?" Alina kept her voice calm. "Something impossible." He nodded slowly. "Then we are exactly where we should not be. The mystery thickened the next morning when they uncovered a row of teeth buried in soft sand. Hundreds of tiny spoon-shaped teeth arranged in rows, just like the ones Alina had studied in fossil museums. But these were white, clean, almost fresh. Jonah ran tests with the portable scanner. "There's collagen," he said, "not mineralized, not ancient." Alina looked up. Then something died here. Not millions of years ago. Maybe a month ago. Maybe days. Suddenly, this wasn't just an expedition. It was a threshold. Either someone was orchestrating an elaborate hoax at incredible cost and detail, or evolution had played a cruel joke on human understanding. That night, Alina couldn't sleep. The desert air was cold now, biting at her fingers even inside the tent. Somewhere out in the dunes, something large was moving. The ground seemed to hum faintly with a pulse she couldn't explain. She closed her eyes and tried to imagine the world as it had been 110 million years ago, lush, warm, full of giants. But when she opened them again, she didn't feel like she was looking back in time. She felt like time was circling back to her. The next day, they would go deeper into Dinosaur. The real story was just beginning. Would you like me to continue with the rising action, the next major section? Keeping the same style, structure, and tone? Ask ChatGPT. Approximate. 2,000 plus words. Morning over Dinosaur was eerily silent. No wind. No birds. Not even the constant shifting of sand. The desert had gone still, as if watching them. Tarek led the way on foot, pacing carefully across the soft terrain. "The ground here has no memory," he muttered. "You step on it, and it swallows your prints." Jonah kept checking the drone as they advanced. "I've never seen terrain like this. It's like something keeps flattening it again." Alina was focused on the subtle signs. The vegetation, barely there patches of hardy desert grass, was trampled in places, flattened in patterns that couldn't have been made by wind. There were no tire tracks, no signs of camels. Whatever had moved through this land had left a wide, rhythmic path, a gate, left, right, left again, and something else. The sun was falling when they reached the basin. From above, it looked like nothing but another hollow in the endless Sahara. But standing at the ridge's edge, Alina saw something she could barely comprehend. Hidden in the heart of Dinosaur was a deep depression with rich green at its center, pockets of grassland that shouldn't exist. A secret ecosystem nurtured by underground springs, shielded from satellite view by high sandstone formations. Jonah gasped. "There's water down there. And look, vegetation. Actual trees." Tarek squinted. "No maps show this. It doesn't exist on record." Alina raised her binoculars and scanned the basin. The moment her lens passed over it, she froze. There it was, a massive creature, 20 feet long, with a body wide and low. Its neck arched gently as it grazed the grass with a mouth shaped like a vacuum. A mosaic of dull gray-green skin covered its form. Wide back, thick legs, and that signature skull she had only seen reconstructed in museums. Nigersaurus. Alive. She lowered the binoculars slowly. Her legs felt numb. Her voice came out in a whisper. "It's real." Jonah stared, pale. "That's not possible. It's a dinosaur." "No," Alina said. "It's the past, surviving the present." There wasn't just one. Within minutes, they counted 5. 2 adults and 3 smaller ones, likely juveniles. Moving in unison, calm and deliberate. Eating, drinking, existing. It wasn't a fantasy. It wasn't a mistake. They were looking at a living population of Nigersaurus. Jonah was already fumbling for the drone. "We have to document this. We have to film everything. This changes everything." Tarek grabbed his shoulder. "You fly anything over them now and they'll scatter. Worse, something else might notice us." Alina nodded. "We don't interfere. Not yet. We observe." They camped on the ridge that night, hidden by a curtain of rock. Below, the Nigersaurus herd moved quietly under the stars. Alina didn't sleep. She didn't want to. She sat for hours just watching them. Peaceful, silent relics of a world long forgotten. But peace never lasts long in the wild. Near dawn, they heard the first roar. It came from the southern end of the basin, low, guttural. Not like the Nigersaurus call. This was something predatory. The herd lifted their heads in alarm. Then they moved, fast and practiced, into a tight cluster. The juveniles were shielded. The adults held formation. Then a shape appeared. It wasn't a Nigersaurus. It was something far more terrifying. From the trees came a dark figure, larger than the rest. Bipedal, fast, with claws like hook blades. Its skull was longer, narrower. A predator. Lurdosaurus? Jonah guessed, breathless. No, Alina whispered. That's something else. It charged the herd. The Nigersaurus adults didn't scatter. Instead, they took turns swinging their tails and herding the young away. They didn't panic. They defended. The predator lunged, teeth bared but miscalculated. One adult Nigersaurus caught it with a tail swipe that echoed like a whip crack across the basin. The predator limped back, snarling, and vanished into the brush. Jonah turned to Alina. This isn't just a herd. It's a society. They defend their own. Alina's mind raced. How had they survived? How had they gone unnoticed? Did some underground ecosystem preserve ancient life? Or had evolution taken a strange turn and resurrected the ancient lineage? More questions followed. What would happen if the world found out? What would governments do? Poachers? Scientists? Could this sanctuary survive exposure? The team descended into the basin later that day. Quietly, slowly, hiding their scent and sound. It was Jonah who noticed the markings first. Near a rocky outcrop were strange shapes carved into stone. Not natural. Symbols. Crude images of dinosaurs. Human figures. Circles. Fire. Alina touched one of the carvings. These aren't ancient, she said. These are recent. They weren't alone. Suddenly, from the trees, a figure stepped forward. An old man, dark-skinned, wrapped in layered robes. He held a long staff and watched them without fear. Behind him stood several others, Tuareg elders. Silent, calm, Tarek raised his hands. We mean no harm. The old man stepped forward. You come for the beast. Alina spoke carefully. We came looking for answers. The man studied her. Some truths are not meant for all ears. I understand, but these creatures are not yours, the elder interrupted. They belong to the land. We're the keepers. For generations we have protected this place, hidden it from the colonizers, from the scientists, from the world. Jonas stepped forward. But people deserve to know. This changes everything we understand about extinction, evolution, biology. The elder raised a hand. And if the world knows, what then? Zoos? Fences? Bombs? Rich men with helicopters? Silence fell. He wasn't wrong. Alina looked at the Nigersaurus herd, still grazing peacefully. The gentle giants were unaware of how fragile their secret world had become. The elder walked beside her. You saw them. You know the truth. Now you must choose. Preserve or expose. Alina didn't answer right away. She stared into the eyes of a young Nigersaurus nearby, calm, intelligent, innocent. It blinked once, then turned back to eat. She thought about headlines, fame, Nobel Prizes, and then she thought about fire, helicopters, chains, concrete walls. You said, approximate. 1,000 to 1,200 words. They left the basin at dusk. No samples were taken. No drones were launched. No bones disturbed. The team walked in silence, each step heavier than the last. They had witnessed something no living human had ever seen, and would likely never see again. When they returned to the edge of Tamanzar, the air felt different, thicker, heavy with meaning. Alina stopped at the final ridge and looked back. The basin was hidden again beneath shadows and sandstone, just as it had been for centuries. Jonah broke the silence. Approximate. 1,000 to 1,200 words. Jonah broke the silence. We're really not going to tell anyone? Alina didn't respond right away. Her eyes remained on the dark outline of the basin. She looked tired, but not defeated. Instead, there was a calm in her, something like reverence. Tarek stood beside her, arms crossed. Even if you did tell the world, who would believe you without proof? And if you brought proof, the sanctuary would be gone within months. Jonah held up his camera bag. I recorded everything. The herd, the predator, even the carvings. We could secure the area, build an independent protection program, raise awareness. You think awareness protects? Tarek said sharply, awareness brings curiosity, then money, then ownership. Jonah turned to Alina. We could make a control report, not public, just academic, something cautious. Alina finally spoke. Her voice was low, but clear. Ask ChatGPT.